What's up, guys? It's John Cody Jenkins with JCJ Gear, and this is the Untitled JCJ Gear podcast. And I know what you're thinking. Is that the title, or is it just untitled? We're asking the same question. And speaking of asking questions, today I'm the guest. So I guess let's get to it.
I'm in charge today. All right. Hello, JCJ Gear universe. Are you a universe now? I'm in charge, so I'm claiming it. My name is Julia Pasqua, and I will be the interviewer today. My only qualifications at all for this podcast is I have known John, aka JCJ Gear, since he was 16. So I have some questions for him. And what better way to ask them than in front of a bunch of people on the internet where you can't back out?
And if I can hop in for a quick second, the reason we're doing this, so I've done a couple podcasts, I've done a couple interviews, and one thing she always brings up, she's like, they miss such important questions. And I want to be clear, I have zero fucking idea what the questions are. But I was like, okay, if that's how you, if you feel people have missed questions, if you want to do one, let's do one. So I have zero idea what's heading my way, so we have not prepped this.
No.
Nothing. So this is going to be raw, genuine, and could suck ass. Per usual.
I'm prepared. I've prepped. I have questions.
Yeah.
You just have no idea what I'm going to ask you.
Correct.
So I've written a brief introduction as well about you for those of you who don't know who this man next to me is. So are you ready to hear what I think of your life?
That's right.
So for those of you who don't know your story, here's my brief summary. You have loved wrestling from a young age, not only the sport, but the design of the whole business, how it ran, and the design of the individuals as well. You used to beg your Granny Rick to help you design gear, and you even have your first lucha mask that you made with her framed and hanging in the shop. We should have that here now, but we weren't prepared. You also have a history performing as a magician for many years, and then you worked a lot of jobs before becoming a full-time cosplay designer. You know, I had to throw that in there. From there, you started training for wrestling and was brought into the world of wrestling gear. You were then straddling both businesses, cosplay and wrestling, while also booking shows and creating your promotion, Kingdom of Wrestling, at the time. Then moving fully to what is now your giant wrestling gear conglomerate that you are running. Can we just take a minute, first of all, to reflect on all the things you've done? Because I feel like you don't do that enough. So I'm giving you a little round of applause because I'm just
gonna rewind real quick.
No.
One of many promotions.
Yes.
If we're putting it over, let's put it over big.
Well, I said the promotion at the time. I'm glad that's what you stuck on. I thought you were going to be mad at me for calling you out that you were a magician.
Yeah. Well,
So that's, hey, if that's not the one I got in trouble for. Is there anything you think I missed? Other than the many promotions.
dude, I don't know. It's hard to keep up these days.
You've done a lot of things, and I feel like most of the time when you sit down on the podcast, people say, like, oh, welcome in. What do you do? Who are you? And then that takes up the whole podcast is explaining your background. So I just did it in a paragraph instead. So everyone, you have the backstory now. Magician, cosplay, wrestling gear, promotions. He does a lot of stuff. Can I cuss on here?
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of shit. Great. Okay, this is going to be much easier if I can cuss. All right, so this interview is going to be more specific, so anyone who wants to know some of your more generic answers, I highly recommend going to some of the other podcasts he has been on. I don't know if you want to plug those in the bottom or the description or anything, but they've been great.
House of Champions podcast, the Devoted brand podcast. I think there's like 2 or 3 more in there that I've forgotten. My apologies.
So if you want any more backstory, this is not the spot. We're going in deep. We're diving in deep.
First time ever.
What? No. Okay. My first question is, your first tattoo when you were 18 says things may come to those who wait, but only left by those who hustle. What does that mean to you now that you've built this whole empire?
All right. It was a dumb tattoo to get.
No, it's not.
Hold on. At that age, like I've always worked. I've always been dedicated. I've always known what I like. When it comes to professional wrestling since I was 4 years old. And that quote, it resonated with me. Things may come to those who wait, but only by those who hustle. And it was the one thing that I knew, like, man, if I could live my life that way and dedicate myself to something or multitudes of things, it's the truth. It's never going to come around for guys who just sit there and do nothing and you're not going out there after it. And, hustle, of course, is like the stupid way of saying it, or like the modern edgy way of saying it. Like, it's just you put the work in. It's kind of like the trademark and the thing we're looking at doing, built for working. Like it's kind of like the updated things may come to those who wait, but only
Right.
up by those who hustle.
But now that you have hustled, like at the point where you were 18, like that's a long time ago now, that was your mentality. And I feel like you've carried that throughout your career, right? Is like continuing to hustle. But now that you have hustled in a reflection, does that mean something different to you now? Or is it like you're just in that same go, 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 go all the time?
Um, it is. It's different. It's the same, and it's not. I mean, like you can break it down and say it's the same thing because I'm still working. I'm still growing. We're still like I know this is an off topic thing, but it kind of falls into the area of like if you don't evolve, you don't grow. Like is kind of the way I view it. Like if you get stale with things, if you don't want to using a gear for my example, if I was comfortable, if I had stuck with what I was doing 4 years ago and was comfortable and left it there, I would still be doing well. I was doing well at the time. I was making good money, but I was always willing to evolve and get better, redesign, rebuild, reclaim. Still in Rollins' shit here, but it's different, but it's also exactly the same. Like it's just get up, put in the work, stop bitching, get your shit done, and you can bitch a little bit, but at the end of the day, nobody really gives a shit. Like it's the only person that cares is you, and get out there, get it done, and you'll feel better about it at the end of the day most of the time.
I just feel like it's been a really good testament to who you are. And
Absolutely.
like knowing that you got that so long ago and that you've kept that as like a statement as to how you want to run your life. I feel that it's almost like something that could be your autobiography title.
I have a couple tattoos that way, like thinking
Yeah.
about it. Like I forget how many ones I have. Like think like a king is another quote I used to use. I realize that one's a little.
I think exists to inspire.
That's what I was about to say.
On your
Exists to inspire
spine,
down my
yes.
spine. That was an old Hardy Boys quote I stole. To be fair, though.
Well, but I think you do inspire people, and I think you have inspired people, and I don't think you give. This is also me giving you credit for stuff because I feel like you don't give
Is
yourself
this
enough
what
credit.
the kids talk about with the flowers?
I didn't bring any flowers. There's vodka. Does that count?
Probably have a better effect.
There's a logo though, so I can't
You're
show
good.
the vodka.
No, we're good. We can leave it out for now.
But well, you see, this is the kind of style questions because it's things that I know that some people might not be reading your chest as closely as I.
Well, it's kind of buried now.
I
so.
know you have. I've said it before. You've gone from having tattoos to just being tattooed.
Being a tattoo, yeah.
So, well, transitioning totally on to something different because these questions are deep but sporadic. My own personal question is something I'm curious about. Is what does a look of a wrestler and the presentation of him change the way that the crowd digests the whole match? So if you have two people coming out with really good gear or one good gear, one not, like how does that change from a crowd perspective how everything runs?
All right, this is some real inside baseball shit that I was.
You
not
don't have
prepared.
to answer it.
It's so some people don't take this into consideration, even though I think they should. Like you can boil it down to your basics of like black and reds is a very heelish thing to wear. Blue and white is a very babyface thing to wear. Like if you're breaking it down to your bare bones, you have the whole goal for me, and I think the business in general, when you talk to guys that are much wiser than me and much deeper in the business, you should be able to present yourself in the first 5 seconds of walking out. Like it's like they talk about in your match. You should know if you're a good guy or a bad guy. You should know that in your entrance. But by far, you definitely should know that in the first 2 minutes of your wrestling match. But if you can get them to know you are not where they need to be leaning in that direction if they've never seen you before by your entrance, by the first thing they see, that's great. Like sometimes things happen where heels have better gear than the baby faces, and that can throw this weird scenario where they, like, for an example, up in Georgia, I'm a bad guy. I've been a bad guy up in Georgia since I debuted there. It's been two years now. But this thing has happened where like I've started investing more in my gear because I believe if you're a bad guy, you should probably have not great gear. Like I just think it's one of those things. Like if I'm a God, I hate using it's whatever. This is what this is for. If I'm a heel, I want to be not cheered in any way. And what started to happen and what I've recently noticed, like the thing I do is very pompous, very over the top, flamboyant, fucking just like really outlandish gear sometimes can translate to I walk through the curtain and people cheer, get excited because they're like, whoa, he looks cool.
Well, you came out as the goddamn American flag. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
literally, you can't not cheer
So
for
like
that.
that's like your question. There's so many layers I can hit on, but like boiling it
Go
down,
into them. I'm curious.
boiling it down. That's a genuine way. That's like a real quick way to like,
So it's the initial kind of first look that people have at a wrestler. Then,
yeah,
so it's the
their
first thing that hits their brain.
well, it's not even the first impression, but you should be going out there every time thinking it's your first impression. Like
Absolutely.
that's my viewpoint. Like every time I walk out there, even in Georgia that I've been there and they all know me, I try to like I hit every time I walk out there. I'm the best damn thing to happen to Georgia. I make sure my gear, my promo attire, my this, like everything is it's a full package. Your moveset is your package, your look is your package, your taunts, the way you talk, your mannerisms. Like people don't get this deep into that shit a lot of times. They go like, "Oh, I'm it's the classic. I wear tights from High Spots and I wear a leather jacket off Amazon." And that's my gimmick. Like, and that's where, like, you can really, really dive into some crazy, intricate things on every aspect of being a wrestler. Most people dive into, like, one.
Yeah, I feel like you could teach a really interesting class on like color theory almost even and the impacts of what color your gear is or the fabric your gear is can even impact that impression. But like the whole bundle and package, I feel like you have so much knowledge of that too that people don't understand. Like it's not like you're just making gear. You see the vision of the whole package. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and what helped on my side is obviously being a worker, having that mindset.
Right.
But I think what helped more so than anything and what a lot of people is knowing the other side of the business, the booking side, all that, like the easiest way to translate something while telling a story. There's so many things you can play into that. That's like when I ran Kingdom and I had the pencil and obviously I own the whole fucking thing. But like running that and being able to, I'm going to use sins as an example. I'm going to talk about a lot of things like people probably have no idea what we're talking about.
Oh no, this is a deep dive podcast. Go for it.
But the sins, we had this idea for the 7 deadly sins. Mainly me had this idea for the 7 deadly sins to be a faction. And each person had their own individual gimmick, and it wasn't like, oh, you got new gear, this. Like we went deep. Every guy I got with, I was like, I realize this is not who you normally are. I want to bring you in to do something different. I want to bring you in to do this. Here's my mindset of who this person is, what they wear, why they do this, what's going on.
Purpose.
Like the full thing of Sloth, for an example, was somebody that we had a very hard time finding the right person and the look for because we wanted that just like to the point of we 100% were planning, and unfortunately we never got around to this. Like Sloth debuted, Sloth didn't work out, the original person who was portraying it, but the idea was for him to have an entrance jacket that we would keep in a bag of liquid ass so he would smell like, so like to the point of when he walks through the curtain, they not only do they see him and they're disgusted because it was a fucking nasty
the
gimmick
design was
looking
disgusting.
There was like mold added in, like all like this really intricate, it was like super white, but there was all these greens and like just mold feeling. And so not only did you see how he looked and it gave you this off-putting essence, his mannerisms, his smell, everything comes together as one. But it all starts when you walk through that curtain or out from under the ring, whatever you're doing, that impression. And the first thing they do is they use their eyes and they judge who you are walking through that curtain. And a lot of times that falls onto what you're wearing. And
well, that's just existence too in humanity. I mean, it's like the basic psychological principles. You know, we've always talked about psychology a lot, from magic to whatever we're doing in general. But I just think it's interesting understanding that design isn't just gear. You know, like what I find that you're saying is the important thing is like, yes, I design gear, but there's so much more design elements to a wrestler that sometimes the wrestlers forget even.
Exactly. Like that's why I said like your question is very like if we're
Layered.
just talking about gear, that's a little bit more simple. Like
Right. No.
this color, these things. You can be elegant and pompous and show all this big shit or
Gorgeous
show all this
George.
fancy stuff. Yeah, exactly.
We just watched that.
And show all this fancy shit and
Yep.
still be a heel, even though your gear is really. It's the way you present it and do it. It's like the USA gear was cool, but when you broke it down, like it was a lot.
It was a lot.
It was a lot that people realized.
Like
at first, when people first saw it, they were like, "Oh, wow!" The more they looked at it, the more it was annoying.
It was
to them.
off-putting.
Yeah,
a little bit is the word.
like it was almost a miss on that one. Like the dragon I did was for me as a heel, I think a miss. Like truthfully,
as a gear maker though,
as a gear maker, it was awesome.
Win. Can we put a picture of that in here post editing?
Yeah, I'm sure we can do that.
Big win.
Like that was super. It was super cool because it meant a lot to me.
For
but
sure.
when you broke it down and like shooting the fireball out of the mask was something that was super cool. But at the end of the day, it was super cool.
That's like, what's the purpose then?
Yeah, and like I'm supposed to be
right.
this hated individual, and they cheered because they saw me and some of these first impressions that these people have, because we have our regulars who know, but at the same time we have these people that your goal is to grow the show every time. They come in and they see me, they see this guy walk out. First of all, he's wearing the championship belt. Right. Second of all, he's in this cool dragon mask that shoots fucking fire. Like everything screams, this guy must be a cool badass, not a chicken shit heel. And that was a miss on my part. And like, it's something that I still have misses. Everybody does. Being able to own those things and understand, like, well, this was more important at this point. That's a prime example of like, that's a miss. And that's where I was wrong in my reasoning for that. That may have should have waited until a couple months later, for more so where we're at now or in the next couple months.
I was just fascinated by the design as a whole. And I think sometimes, again, things people don't know about you is like how much you think about this whole design of wrestling and the concept of your own being, or when you were booking everyone. Why are you looking at me like
booking
that?
The territory? That's what it is.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like our life has always moved really fast, moving into the next question. So these are some things that we've just never even talked about, you know, or I've never had a chance to talk to you about. Like I've witnessed a lot of these things happening, but we sometimes never actually sat down and like communicated on like my next question, for example, is like transitioning from cosplay to wrestling. I was there for the whole transition. I witnessed the whole transition happening, and it naturally kind of progressed. Like, I don't know if people realize exactly how everything kind of merged, but like cosplay, COVID hit 2020, cosplay was at its peak, like before 2020 COVID hit. Like I think we were at a really big part of the cosplay industry, and I know now it's transitioned to TikTok and it's changed, but I think that was, in my personal opinion, the peak of cosplay. And then COVID hit, everything shut down,
especially business wise.
Yeah. And COVID hit, everything shut down, kind of the WB cease and desist happened too and everything, so that changed the business. And then wrestling kept going, so your business went naturally. Like we had that little maker studio in between, for those of you who don't know, between JCJ Gear and this cosplay couple was Maker Studio. Slightly miss Maker's Delight. That's okay. But it was that natural transition then from wrestling kept going. Cosplay had stopped. So it wasn't almost a conscious choice of leaving the wrestling business as much as just something that had happened, or the cosplay business. Sorry, you know, I'm blonde. It was just kind of a natural progression to leave the cosplay business and to just go toward the wrestling business full time. And then the cosplay business kind of just died out. I've never even sat down with you and asked, so like, what were your feelings going from that cosplay to wrestling gear, fully leaving that cosplay world behind? Like, I know we were talking about this even a little bit last night. Like, did you even have any feelings, or because of that hustle mentality where you're just like, okay, this is closed, this is where the business is now, this is where the money is? Because you had passion for both. It wasn't like you were leaving passion completely. Like, did you have feelings even going through that? I've never been able to ask you because our life's been so chaotic.
Okay, let's see here. Yes. I mean, yes, you always have feelings about things. So for those of you that don't know, quick overview. before I ever got into the wrestling, I always loved wrestling from the time I was 4 years old. Also always loved superheroes like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman,
That's why I started with all
that.
your
Yeah.
passions too, because I felt like that was an important part of who you are.
So my full-time gig was, like, I say building bat suits, but it was building suits. It was making costumes for cosplayers. It started as just capes. It started as this, and then it ended up, I worked for some of the bigger cosplayers that traveled the circuit and all that jazz. Shout out to Mark Knight Rises. Shout out to, I'm trying to think,
Hey, Mark.
I can't even think of
Hey, other Marks.
other Marks. What's up? But the Bat Fam, haven't seen them in forever. Hope they're doing well.
Like I said, the cosplay just kind of
but that whole thing. There's a bunch of good people in cosplay, but
Derek.
honestly, my feelings, Derek, shout out DH Cosplay.
That's where your business ended up.
Yeah, that's where my cape business ended up, which he's taken and made way more than I ever did. But my feelings towards it was, I hate to say this, but no, I don't. It's the truth. Relief. Because it had got so fucking horrendous in the business of cosplay. Like, the people you dealt with, the egos. And I realized we were in a ego-driven business.
Can I butt into that too,
Yeah.
though? I think the difference, though, is like a cosplay suit would be like $2,000, basically, kind of minimum, versus, so you'd have that one customer that was high stakes that you would have to deal with all the time, versus wrestling gear, where if you have one or two that kind of bug you, it's not the only person you're talking to.
Yeah, so it wasn't even that for me. To be honest, like, every business you have, you're going to have shitty clients. All right. And this is not directed at anybody. This is anything. I've had shitty clients in the wrestling business. We don't work together anymore. There's a reason for that. I can honestly count on one hand the amount of what I would call, like,
Rough clients?
No, I'm going to be blunt.
Okay.
Shitty clients. Like, people that either, like, there's a multitude of reasons why somebody can labeled a bad client, and it's not because of they have certain things they need or certain things they want. It's like, normally it's more so like just payment can sometimes be a thing. We've had issues with names in the business that you have to chase for a payment. I'm not going to be doing that. That gives you bad client vibes. There's a list of bad clients, but bad client traits, I guess. But the reason I say that, it wasn't so much of the clients I was dealing with, which there were more worser clients in the cosplay community, but it became like the community as a whole, like, because I was big in the Batman community, was so, I hate this word because it's overused, but so fucking toxic.
I thought you were going to say dramatic.
That too, dramatic. Like, when you break it down, it's so scary similar to what we do with wrestling, but we are grown men wearing spandex and going out for wide strokes here, entertainment purposes. That's what you're doing with when you're dressing up as Batman. You're going out to entertain the kids or do this, but it just became so, and it's still that way to a degree. I stop in every once in a while and see it, but like, and it just was horrible to work with. On top of that, if I'm really laying it all out there, there were so many shit. Give me a close up on this one. All right, there was so many shit fucking makers in that business, where their customer service, their timelines, they fucking lie. Like, I don't get very passionate about the cosplay business much, about things, but like, fucking awful. And they're scam artists. There were so many of them that are still actively in business, that are still rated high because they kiss the ass of people who are on social media. And that's what it became. And it sucked because, like, we were dealing with on the costuming side, we were dealing with such the amount of egos. Then you were dealing with these people that were coming to you. They're like, hey, I had a bad experience with X, Y, and Z. Are you guys the same way? And you had so much more work ahead of you to be like, no, we're not that way. We're not like literally almost every other business that ran. There is your select few that ran well. Hernandez is at the top of my mind. Hernandez effects, if you guys are looking for a Batman gal. But sorry to dip off into that, but like, I was relieved. That was my feeling. It was hustle. Yes, we're getting to the next thing. And I left at it like it was a weird time for
It
me to
was a
leave.
weird time.
Like I was still doing suits. There was that middle ground time. I was still interested in the cosplay thing.
You still make capes.
Yeah, I still do stuff like occasionally, but then there's like when we transferred into it, I transferred at a like yes, I was making my living. I could have made my living on either. Gear was doing much better and I was enjoying it, and the welcoming side of gear was so much better.
Right.
But to be blunt with you, going back on that, like like it's not a bad business decision now, but I can look at it back then and go, you probably made a bad business decision
With what?
with moving that soon.
Quickly? Oh yeah.
Like I
It was
probably
a fast-
should have gotten better at my gear because I was only a year and a half
Hardly, I think even, yeah.
when I moved fully, and like I had a lot of fucking up still to do.
Yeah. It's interesting because you talk about the difficulties of the other makers in the cosplay environment and why that created issues for you. And when you came into the gear business, there was almost something similar that was happening. Like you came into the gear business and people had similar complaints. Like, I can't get my gear on time, or I placed an order and it's been 2 years and I haven't heard anything. So it was like communication. This actually leads me to my next question if we're ready to move on. But like communication and promptness and just actually getting gear. Like your skills might not have been where they were at, but you knew how to run a business.
Yeah.
And your experience with how to deal with people and clients and how to actually create a product and get it to people was on point.
Yeah.
And it's ironic that a part of the cosplay business that you hated, like the other makers being bad, actually is what helped boost your business in the wrestling gear industry. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's it makes total sense because we've now built the brand where people come to buy my gear now because of the brand's name.
And it's durable, reliable, and untouchable.
They know when they buy from me, first of all, we stand by our gear.
Yeah.
We take care of you. You're going to get it in the time frame we quoted. The bare minimum for me, if you are going to charge people and run a business, if I tell somebody, hey, I will have your stuff in 8 to 10 weeks, it should not be a fucking day over 10 weeks that it's in their goddamn hands.
Right.
All right. And most of the time, you're going to get your gear early from me because I always quote with extra time to spare. Now, I've been late, I think, twice in my career of gear.
I think one was the post office, though.
One was private party, which I will tell that story on this podcast
private party.
one day. Almost had to fly to Cincinnati or whatever it was to drop them the gear, but then the post office. But anyway, that was one time, and another time was, if I remember correctly, he ordered 2 sets separately at one time. It was like it was a miscommunication, essentially, was the only other time that I'm aware of that's happened. And yeah, that's your bare minimum. Be on fucking time, bro.
My takeaway from that too is like, I never put together the transition from cosplay to wrestling gear. Is like, you did learn the things you didn't want to do in business, period. Like, sewing aside, like you were saying, you learned you didn't want to be those people who didn't present a costume if it said it was going to be on time. You didn't want to be promising something at a quality and then delivering at something else. So like, I didn't even think of the transitionable business similarities and skills, that went with that. And leading into where you actually like perfectly went where my next question was going, which is identifying gaps in the market has been something that you've been really great in your career. Like we spoke a little bit about when you came into the wrestling gear side, a lot of people's complaints that I was hearing when we were talking about the business part of it. And I was asking people like, well, what is even this wrestling gear stuff? Because I didn't know anything and I was trying to learn. And what I would hear a lot is like, oh, well, we ordered something and then we don't hear back from them. Or we ordered something and it took 2 years to get here. Or it's this price and then the quality's bad or it didn't fit. So there were a lot of things that you could identify right off the bat that you wanted to not do in your business. So I feel like one of your strengths is always identifying those gaps in the market. With Batman capes, there was no fabric capes on the market. Mm-hmm. You filled that gap perfectly. I said when you came into the wrestling gear business, it was lack of promptness and reliability in gear makers. Do you see any current gaps? We talked about this a little bit in not on the podcast, but like, do you see any current gaps in the market of wrestling gear or in the wrestling industry itself that either you're trying to fill or you feel like there are opportunities for people to come in and fill?
Ooh, if we go the wrestling industry
Let's
itself,
do one at a time. Let's start with wrestling industry.
that's probably the wrong one.
Okay,
to
let's
start
start.
with.
Back up. Hold on. Let's start with the wrestling gear business then. What are gaps that you see that people can come in and fill? Because I know you talk to a lot of people who are up and coming gear makers. So what are those gaps in the market that you think that they could fill or that you're trying to fill?
If you want to have a full-time living and enough work to never worry about the rest of your life having a client.
Oh boy.
Right now, if you showed up and are talented at sewing and can produce good quality female gear, you're set.
That's fair.
Right now, there's great female gear makers out there. I want to be clear. Lucha Lady. There's a bunch of people that make. I'm not even going to try to go through all this. There's a bunch. There's like, off the top of my head, 6 really solid, like pretty much strictly female gear makers. It's not enough. Like, it's just.
Why do you think that is?
There's so many fucking female.
Do they need more gear?
They need gear. And like, what's happening is like, cause they'll contact me like, hey, are you willing to do this? And like, I work with some females, but like, I don't do the bras or the strappiness. And like, that's something I want to work on, but I don't have the time to do yet.
Right. You're only one person. And even with other hands,
like I have, like the way it works now is I have to learn how to do something so I can then show the next person below me how to do something. So then we can show the following person below them how to do something. So we can all be on the same level of doing it the same way. And like, learning something new in this track is very difficult. But with the female gear maker thing, like, there are so many wrestlers now. There's so many makers for male gear because it's easier to the point of fitment, in my opinion. I think that's why.
Makers men or women or both?
Oh, there's both.
Okay.
Yeah, like
so
across
even women
the board.
are making men.
There's
gear.
couples. There's like fucking Zodiac.
Yep.
He and his wife. I believe it's your wife. I apologize if it's not. If it's your significant other, whatever it is, like, they tag team stuff. Me and Bud tag team stuff now. I still do
That's
a lot
also
of
your
stuff.
wife.
Yeah, I do a lot of stuff on my own these days still. Like, but there's Checkmate Gear is a couple that does stuff, and they're fucking, like, sidebar. I'm sorry, I apologize, but like, Checkmate Gear is really cool to me because like, they were one of the few people that like hit me up and was like, yo, without your videos, without what you do, we wouldn't be here.
Right.
And like, that is such a cool, like, and it's not because like, oh, they learned from me. No, fuck that. Like, information that they received through our lives and our content and all that stuff, they are making a living. And not only are they making a living, they're making great fucking shit.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, people listen to you, you know, and I think now you're realizing that, well, you have a microphone and cameras, you know what I mean, too? Like,
so, funny thing about this, the reason the podcast is here is that exact reason. Like, it's not that I think my opinions are important. I don't, to be honest with you.
Other people do.
But I've grown to learn that some people do. Yeah. And that means a lot. And I want to be able to help. And if I can help or give insight, great. If all this is talking to the ether, then great. It's talking to the ether.
Well, and that's why that question was more pointed at, like, the people who are listening to you and want to make a living out of this. Like you said, women's gear is a great spot to go, or even just from what you're saying, just get out and make gear, you know, because like, people, there's still the need for gear makers. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, there's still like, that's one thing that it gets interesting, is how much gatekeeping there is still to a point. Like, in comparison to cosplay, it's like basically zero. Like, there was so much gatekeeping over there.
Yeah.
But like, here they're a lot more open and will answer your questions or help you out. Like, I help out. Clint's helped out. Like, there's Miss Sandra has been fucking phenomenal. Like, all these people are super great, super nice, and don't have to be. There is still your people that want to, like, hold it down, and they're worried, like, oh, well, what if this client leaves me? Like, I'm not big on I own a client. I never own a client. I love Jimmy Uso to death. He's one of my favorite people. We text now. Super fucking weird, by the way.
Fun.
So fun. He's
such
great.
A great guy.
Yeah. Like, But with that being said, if he decided next week to go somewhere and get something
You'd
from another
understand.
maker, yeah,
Yeah.
because there's so many talented makers out there now. There's also not
We're
great
just gonna cut
makers.
here.
Like there's a fine line. Like but back to your question, because we were about to go crazy on that.
I saw that. You reined yourself back in. It's
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. But back to your question.
I was gonna pull you back.
One of the other big holes in the market is something we're trying to plug right now with the generics,
Basic
the
gear.
basics page. Like I get sometimes 30, 40 messages a day, and 10 of those will be kids that are in a random school.
Yeah.
That are about to get free, about to be trained up. We want our first gear to be made by you. And they have this super complicated gear set that they have no idea who the fuck they are.
Going back to the design.
Going back to the design, they're like, the biggest thing I shy kids away from is like, I want this entrance jacket. This entrance jacket is going to be a $1,200 entrance jacket because there's studs and rings and leather and fucking 5 days of work in it that they can only wear for one outfit.
Yeah, I appreciate their gung ho-ness. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
absolutely.
Like, I appreciate them having a vision and wanting to go for it, but that's a big investment too. In the
Absolutely. Like, I couldn't imagine coming out or like like getting out of school. I've just spent, for me, I don't know, what was it, $3,000, $4,000 to get trained when I went?
I can't remember. Don't ask
Whatever
me
it
numbers.
was. You spend a couple $1,000s to get trained for wrestling, and then the first thing you have to do if you don't want to be that dude out in fucking jeans
Buy
and
gear.
t-shirts is go buy gear. So now you have to go figure this out. First of all, if you're working with me, you got to have a concept art design. So that's cost you anywhere from, let's say, $20 to $150, depending on who you go with. Once you do that, now you contact me, and I'm the guy to be like, yep, that gear is going to cost you at least $1,200 because you picked this jacket. And they're like, well, that's ridiculous. I agree. And you shouldn't be doing that on your first one out. Like, so our basics page is, you can get 3 different colors of some sort of long tights, biker shorts, or knee pads too, or trunks. We're working on expanding all that, but like, and you can get it for a reasonable price, and you can get it with your own custom logo on it or logos we provide. Like, being able to have custom generic gear at an affordable price is not really heard of. Like, there's your Eluchas and your high spots who have generic gear, but that's not custom.
And
it's
the
not,
quality's different.
that's the case too.
I'm
That's
gonna
not shitting on anybody.
No, I'm just gonna plug the.
But
quality.
it's different. You know, it's a different way of doing things. Like, High Spots is a full-time, like, they sell a million things. Gear is not their only thing. Elucha is only gear, but it's I'm not a fan of Elucha's gear from it looks good.
Can I plug your future video of potentially comparing all of these?
Yeah,
companies?
that's something we want to do. We want to
to
get
the
that in, and
basics
it's not.
here.
And like, one thing that I'm big on is not getting things to shit on anybody. I'm getting things to first of all, I may learn something, because that's happened before, where I'll get something in and go, huh, never would have thought of it that way. Or it could be get something in and go, never gonna do it that fucking way. Like, but yeah, that's one of the videos we want to do, is comparing. We want to do a generics. We want to get like trunks from High Spots and Elucha and maybe a random maker online. Like, that's still something I want to do, where I pitched that years ago to a couple guys.
Well,
and
now
they were
you guys
down.
have to do it because I'm talking about it on a podcast.
Yeah, like something we want to do, or
This is peer
my
pressure.
idea from years ago is to have a mock-up, have 3 solid makers.
Oh, I remember this. Yes.
All make the same
Oh
mock-up.
God, yeah, this was like 2 years ago almost with this idea.
And then we all make it.
Yep.
We all compare it, what the differences were. We discuss it. Why'd we
be
go
so
with this?
cool right
Why'd we
now.
do this? And like, and in no way, shape, or form is to go like, oh, well, this guy makes it this way, we shouldn't order from him. It's
Right.
to go, this guy makes it this way, which is, sorry to shake the whole table, which is very different than how this guy made it. But I like this way better than this way because this has this. But this one, like,
Well, and that would be important too for customers, I think, to understand that you can have the same concept art and you could have 3 different makers and it could come out 3 different ways. So the concept art is simply
it's guaranteed almost to come out
it's a
3 different
concept,
ways.
hence the word concept art.
Correct.
And I think that gets missed. This is just me now on a rant about things that I've observed. Is that allowed? I don't know. I'm in charge. It's allowed. But to kind of conclude, I guess the question is the gaps in the market are women's gear, basics, quality, and still customer service. Like, I think
Yeah.
what you were saying is if you can have a good communication with your customer, if you can have a prompt timing, like that is always, it seems to be possibly a gap in this market.
And right now we're fighting the communication thing, to be completely open and honest. Like,
What do
we're
you mean?
having a hard time keeping up with the communication. I
Oh
am.
yeah, no. Oh,
Like, it's
your business, not the business of
yeah,
wrestling.
no, like
Yes,
for me,
yes.
like it's hard. Like I've always been active on trying to reply to people and trying to keep things in a timely manner. But right now, between we have a little inside baseball opening up here, like it's a little overwhelming. Like, we have, not only do we have this we're working on,
Oh yeah.
we have our regular gear we're working on, plus TV that comes in randomly, plus the compound, which is the studio wrestling.
There's a
Plus
question
we run
about that later. We're not there yet.
okay, we run open rings Mondays, like Mondays, Fridays, and 2 Sundays a month. Thank God I have Bud, because if not, I would be here. I'd be here every second of the day.
Oh, I know.
Like, Bud helps run open rings and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, like, I still need to be here for a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And my time is so split that, like, by the time, like, my old time used to be like I would answer messages kind of when I got home and did this. Like, right now, I get home and I'm like, I need 5 fucking minutes.
You've learned the sense of self-care too, which I think has been important. Like, you've learned, like, oh, I don't need my notifications on 24 hours a day. If someone has a problem, I can get to it in the morning when I'm looking at messages. Like, I don't have to answer them at midnight. I think we live in a weird world of communication where people think that they can reach you. I know I struggle with this in my business, or I've had to really put boundaries up in my business. Like, I might be on social media, but that doesn't mean I'm available to you 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think you're finding that normally with a business, it's like you have an open hour and a close hour, but because of the way your business works, it's like it's 24 hours. Anyone can tell you or ask you anything.
Yeah. And like,
so it's like, it's not that you're not as good with messages anymore. I think you've just said, hey guys, I'm not going to message you back at midnight anymore. You know,
well, yeah,
too.
it's not that. Well, I mean, no, it's the truth, but I'm not as good right now because I have 5 billion things going. That's why, to be blunt and open, like, I don't know when this is going to release. We haven't opened orders, not because we can't fit them or do them, but we have so much other shit right now that, like,
Sorry.
like, full inside baseball, what we're doing right now, I'm making less money than ever on this because of I'm not taking the orders I probably should be. You good?
We're fine. Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
My leg was asleep. I'm sorry.
But, like, I don't know how much of this is staying, but we're not taking the orders we should be because I have to split my time so much where I'm just keeping what I call the bare minimum 10 orders on the list. Like, I'll do that, 10 orders and do that. I was rocking 70, 80 orders by myself a month at one time, which was insane work. I never want to do that type of work again. But, like, we should at minimum here be doing, we have the shop, we have all this, 30 to 40 sets a month, I think.
I know that's been bugging. I feel like now you're just kind of telling yourself what you should be doing. Too.
No, but
You're
like
this is where we should be.
But actively right now I have to split my time so much.
I know.
Between here, like, even when I'm here, today, me and Bud were sitting there, and we'll get back to your question in 1 second. I know this is all over the place.
Did I have a question?
I don't know anymore. But today we were sitting here, and, like, my brain is actively thinking about what I'm working on at that point. And Bud's got questions about something about the podcast or I can't even fucking remember. But he's like, well, what are we going to do about this with this content and this with this? And, like, just that moment of having to break up, like, and having such different things, like, such a drastically different question of what we should be working on.
You wear a
like,
lot of hats.
Yeah, it's a lot right now. And, like, adding on the messages of, like, and now we have so many, like, we have 3 pages that today I got a screenshot from the person that is helping run my basics that was like, hey, they texted me this, trying to get in touch with you on this page. So they messaged me on this page and want you to answer on the other page. And, like, I will get to you when I get a second. First of all, my bio says closed for orders in capital letters. It's the first fucking thing.
So I think the PSA here is people read the bio, read the instructions.
Message me. No. It's message me. Just understand things take time. And right now we are in the ultimate transition time where we're able to do things like this, where we're going to be able to produce everything everybody's wanted from me for the last 5 years I've been doing this. It's, hey, content. hey, videos, hey, this. I've wanted to do that for the longest time. We're just now being able to tackle this. Like this setup we're sitting in, you can't see over there, but there's $7,000 worth of equipment for live streaming that we haven't been able to touch because we have TV and all this other stuff. Like it's just there's so much going on. It's a lot of hats. It's a very big picture, and I realize 90% of this is going to get cut. It's fine.
We don't know that actually. This is all very interesting stuff. There's the umbrella, which is JCJ gear, and I think, like I said, this is a podcast of what people don't realize happens, right? So there's the umbrella, which is JCJ gear, and within that now you also have JCJ basics. You have the compound. Then you have just content creation is a big part of life anyway. So just solely based on what you have to post on Instagram for all the gear that you do make. When other people wear your gear, what you have to repost on Instagram. Then you always have loved YouTube. I don't know if people know this about you, but you've been making YouTube videos. I feel like since YouTube almost started.
No, it wasn't that early, but it was
so long, man. Like do
time.
not look for those videos, people, or do if you're look for the videos. You love content creation though too. Like you are I'm sorry, now I'm ranting, but you're a very passionate person, and so your passions have been like Batman, wrestling, magic, but also content creation and like the YouTube world that can create. So I love seeing that one of those things under the umbrella of JCJ Gear is the compound, JCJ Gear, the basics page, and content creation. Because I feel like you creating things with the YouTube, with live streaming, with the podcast, I think this is expanding a part of your creativity as well. But
yeah,
that's just me talking about you now. Do you want to talk about the growth and the compound journey at all since we're here? Or is that going to be a whole separate video?
No, we can talk about that.
Do you want me to do something with this bottle that you're...
No,
okay.
I like it.
I thought you were like telling me to do
one thing I'll hit on real quick while we're kind of in this realm is like
sure.
the idea of wearing multiple hats and like the things people don't think about.
You literally do though. You have a lot of hats.
I know, that's what I'm saying, but like the things people don't think about that like people think, oh, he makes gear, he sews, right?
Right.
Cool, no problem.
That's like an eighth of what you do.
That's like the most bare minimum part of what I do.
Yeah.
Like it's the communication, it's the figuring out, breaking down the design so that it works. But then there's things of like overhead of running what makes this place tick, which is something that like Bud's not going to know. You're not going to know. Nobody's going to know because nobody else can do it. Like
you're not in your brain.
Understanding, okay, this fabric takes this amount of time to get here.
Right.
We need to order all this at this time. Our thread run, our vinyl run, our everything we have to keep in stock to keep this place rolling and touching. Like right now we're in like a snafu where like our thread distributor closed.
Yeah.
And now we're figuring out threads that work and is durable, and we've had to switch to some threads that like to break in our machines, and it takes us longer. And we're figuring all that out. And then like they still sell our thread. Now our thread is, for an example, right? For 1 month of black and white thread right now, and a set of needles that will last us maybe the month if we're lucky, if we're stretching our needles, is almost $500, and it will only last us the month. And that's just black and white. That's not red, blue, yellow, pink, green. Like that's
only order black and white gear.
That's because of like us like our threads went up. All this has changed. Like I've never been in such a, like even when we transitioned from costuming to this, the current timeline we're in, the current multiverse, whatever you want to call it,
I feel like
is fucking the most chaotic. There's so much new. There's so much we have to transfer.
Well, and even then, you're very blessed to be in a business that is, I think the wrestling business is still thriving right now. Like there's a lot of industries and businesses, like even the one I'm in, where I'm watching things collapse and completely get demolished. So I think like, you at least the wrestling business is at a high point, even though like thread is also at a high point, you know what I mean? But yeah, it's just so much to think about every single day that I would not know because I'm not in your head. Like we try to help you out as much as we can, but you're the guy. You're the man. It has your name on the hat, on the door, on everything else. So it's literally every single decision that you make, not even the decisions like the compound. We're going to make something new. But like you said, how are we going to sustain what we're already doing? It's a lot to think about.
A lot of hats. A lot of hats nobody thinks about. Like that's just, no, I didn't want to like, this is, everything I'm talking about here, by the way, in no way, shape, or form do I want people to feel like, oh, I'm boasting or oh, I'm this, or I want people
I don't think that's... That's
that's
why
not
you
the
don't
case.
talk about yourself.
No, I
period.
don't.
That's why I'm
Like,
making you talk about yourself.
I don't like this actively here. I don't love doing because there's so much.
I took your chair for a reason.
Yeah, there's so much to it that like it just at the end of the day, like what I break it down to is this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is my job. Not only is it my job, it's my passion. It's what I get. It's what I get to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the word it's get to do. It's what I've worked my ass
It's
off
what
to
you've
do.
chosen to do too.
Yes.
It's a lot of conscious decisions back to back to back to back of continuing to do. It's every day you have to wake up and say, this is what I'm still going to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a commitment for sure. Cause it's something you've built, not just something you go to.
Yeah.
You know? So what, I don't know if I'm allowed to share this, but I'm going to, and you can edit it out. Your first wrestling gear ever on WWE is not what people talk about or actually think. It was actually for Lince Dorado, if I am correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you also say that you think that was too early. Like, and I think that's why you don't always bring up that was your first time on WWE. Could you speak more about that specifically? Maybe what advice you would give to younger gear makers who want to get there really quickly? Like everyone always wants to be on TV really fast. What were the benefits or the regrets kind of going from, you were not even making gear a year, I think, when that happened.
Nah, I think I've been making gear maybe a year, maybe two.
I do think I have a picture of this Lince Dorado jacket too.
Well, there's a lot more to that.
I was cutting out. I just wanted to know the like.
I think it's a good lesson for people, and it's a story I've shared with guys in the business who are a little
ambitious.
Sure, that's a good word. I was going to say gung ho, and think they're there before they should be. So Lince contacted me, and everything I'm about to say, Lince's a gear maker. Lince does great work. Nothing about the situation is shooting on somebody or anything like that. This is the situation. This is how it went down.
He gave you an opportunity.
I've talked to Lince.
Yeah.
Me and Lince have.
You guys are cool.
Oh, absolutely!
Hi, Lince,
I think he's a great
obviously
talent.
he's watching.
I think his lucha threads, go follow him. But so the first time was it was a couple things he ordered. Mm-hmm. He ordered a couple, I think a pair of joggers, one pair of joggers.
I was just cutting that out, but yeah, we're going in deep.
But I'm going to tell the full gimmick. He ordered a pair of joggers, I think a pair of knee pads, and a jacket. And I was young in the game. I was doing solid work for the indies of where I was. But like when I say I was doing solid work, I had my basics, my bare bones, my long tights.
You were very good at sewing too.
Shorts, knee pads, like my appliques were good. All that stuff was good. I still was a little heavy on the vinyl at the time because that was what I thought was right.
You didn't know any better too.
Yeah, it's all I knew.
Yeah.
Like with all that being said, I make 1,000 pairs of joggers all the time now. The joggers I made at that time, they weren't good.
Yeah.
Period. Like they were fine for what they were. I think what Lince told me was like, "Hey man, these feel like just like loose tights," and he was right.
Yeah, he was right.
Like that, I wasn't like, oh, he was right.
Yeah.
The knee pads I made, I think I made a mistake on the strap. To be honest with you, I think I was nervous. Cut them the wrong way, so the stretch didn't go that way. I made a mistake.
It was very early.
Yeah, it was very early. Like I was still, to be honest with you, I was still figuring out how the fuck I was doing knee pads. Like, and one of the reasons I remember he told me, he's like, hey, one of the reasons I got these knee pads is because like I saw a photo you did the corner cut. I thought it was like the trace thick pads, and I was like, well, I mean, it's a trace basic pattern, but it's not. Trace pads, those aren't really easy to come by. I have them now, but
progress.
It took years and years to find that padding. But with that being said, it ended up being one of those things. Like I think we refunded, if I remember correctly. I think you refunded for the joggers and the knee pads. He said the jacket was great. He loved the jacket.
He wore the jacket.
He wore the jacket at Elimination Chamber, and that was the first time my stuff was on WWE TV. It was a pay-per-view. Like it was a great experience. Lince has since messaged me a couple times. I've messaged him, especially like he's done some killer work for Bailey. Like he's done some of her joggers and tops, and like he's a very talented gear maker. And at the time, to be honest with you, this is one of those things that as I've grown older, I talk about ego a lot because this business is driven on ego.
Oh yeah.
My ego said to myself, this is not something I've said to him or whatever. Like in my head, I was like, he's a gear maker, so he has his own way of doing things. Why he didn't like my stuff. That's what I said to myself at the time. And that was the wrong viewpoint. And that's where, like I checked myself very quickly out of that, but that was my natural, like that's a lot of people's natural defense. Well, instead of going, hey, you fucked up,
Own it, move on.
own it,
Yeah.
and now get better. And that's experience was the best thing for me because I went with that. I said, okay, at first I was, well, he's a gear maker. He's this, he's whatever. Like, and I kept that like inside saying that to myself and it made me feel better, but it didn't fix the problem.
No.
And the moment I looked at that and said, you know what? Yeah, those aren't joggers. Those aren't the right way of doing things. I don't know the right way of doing them right at that time. And it took me a little bit longer to figure out joggers. Now I bet we could work together and we'd do some fucking killer shit. And he's since actually contacted me like we should work together and do some stuff. And it just hasn't worked out yet.
So I think you're also saying like you have to fuck up, you have to fail to get better.
The best advice I ever got, and I've said this a billion times, is if you're not fucking up, you're not learning.
Who said that?
Jay Lethal, my wrestling trainer, said that.
I didn't know it was Jay.
Like that was great
Thanks,
advice he gave. Like that's probably one of the few things we agree upon in the business. Like we have very different outlooks on things, and that's okay. I love Jay. I hope Jay is doing well. I haven't seen him in a minute, but he's been like without Jay, I'm not here.
Yeah.
Like without David
Facts.
Mercury, I'm not here. David Mercury was my other trainer.
Jay was helped too with the beginning of the gear. Career,
Absolutely.
I didn't even put that
same
in
thing with
here.
Mercury. That's what I was bringing up. Like Jay Lethal and Merc looked at my shit, and until they said, "Yeah, I'd wear that," I didn't sell a pair of gear. I didn't sell a pair of gear.
It's like you didn't wrestle until they said, "Okay, you can wrestle somewhere else." You didn't sell a pair of gear until you got the okay from them.
Exactly.
Which I don't know if people know that.
No, I mean everybody has their different ways of doing it. That's like
I'm just saying.
There's people out there right now that need that person in their life to be like, "Hey, you're learning. You're not ready to sell gear."
And that's okay. Like, you got to keep failing. You have to just keep making gear. This transitions me perfectly. And I always say you grow yourself by pushing. Like, what I admire about you is you never just say, okay, I'm here, I'm good enough. You know what I mean? Like, you know your quality, but you're always pushing yourself into, like, I can add this to the gear making business, or I can learn how to get all these different kinds of studs or gems or sublimation or how to do different logos. And you're not afraid to fail. I don't know if you've ever really been afraid to fail, but you're really not afraid to fail now because you know that's how progress is made.
It's, I want to hit on that real
Sure.
quick. The failure thing.
It's not really failure.
No. But what I'm saying is,
it's something that you learn from.
It's two ways of looking at it. Like failure to me is like, you don't fail until you're done.
That's my favorite quote right now is the only way to fail is to quit.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can have fails.
Yeah, you can have things
without
that don't
them
work.
being
it's not that big of a deal.
Being the end,
right.
so to speak. That's like I talked earlier about the I think the purple dragon gear was great gear, but it was a fail on where I was in the story.
Right, but that doesn't mean that you did anything bad even. It's just something that you can learn from.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's important for people to know because sometimes they're like, oh no, one thing didn't work out. It's like, not everything that you do is going to work out, not even in gear business, just in life. So what's a different, like we're talking about the similarities and how you've grown is because you're not afraid to try different things. Is there something in gear making that you do completely differently from when you first started to now? Like it could be some like inside baseball sewing knowledge even.
Everything.
Like, you don't do anything similar. Like spandex still exists from when you were so like that's the same thing, but
like my seam stitching, my applique stitch is the only thing that stayed the same, I guess. But like even my seam stitch I use, my elastic
the machine
I use, my machines,
yeah.
my fabric choices on a lot of them I'm very different on. My for logos for sure. Like everything has grown and become different. And the other thing that I think would help people a lot. Now this is kind of a how you view it, I guess, but like being willing to make the investment. That's one thing I'm not afraid of when it comes to business.
You have to.
Is the investment. Like we said earlier, this room is probably $7 or $8 grand just on the podcast and streaming equipment. Like that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah.
Like,
You got to spend money to make money.
no matter how you look at it, that's a lot of money. Just the wall you can't see over there that has our back storage, there's a couple grand probably just in random pieces of things we have to have here.
That's another thing people don't think about when they think, oh, you're a business person, is like how much money you have to spend on other things.
Be willing to make the investment. Be willing to, like, I understand everybody has their bills. Everybody has this. Growing to this office, growing to having that space, growing to this, like,
every cliff you've jumped off has been a cliff.
every step of the way is improvements. Now, there's going to be a time, and I feel like it's soon. I hope it's soon, where there's not much we can do, like improvement wise. We have this functioning building. We have the employees.
You know, sometimes I think that about you, and then you open the compound, and I'm like, nope, we're just starting things.
Oh, well, I mean, but when it comes like this part of the business, like the compound is part of the business, but it's a totally different aspect.
So, all right, we're gonna have some bonus questions after this, but this is the last one that I'm really like holding on to. So you've had an action figure, right there, right there. Your gear's been on WrestleMania, and I'm not discounting the hugenesses of those things, right? Those are ginormous milestones in your career, but I've witnessed you go through those things. I'm not sure if that's what you consider to be the best parts of what you do or the things that you are most proud of. What do you think the best part of this career, specifically probably wrestling gear, has been for you? Like, what's been the most rewarding? What have been those big moments for you? You can take some time to think about it. It's the big question.
I mean, yeah.
This is our big finale.
So here's the thing. The figure was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, the brand of JCJ gear is known for those 3 fucking words that I've lived my life by without knowing it.
For real. It's very true. We could tattoo. You haven't tattooed those on you yet. Maybe that's the next one.
And it's in the plans. But
right
yeah,
on
like
your butt cheek.
That's the cool part. Like, there's a million cool parts, but like the part probably I'm proud of the most would be, like, they know they come to me, they know they're getting something good, they know this name, they know the quality.
JCJ has really bled into a lot of areas that I don't even think you're aware of.
This is,
you know what I mean?
I'm confident in saying this, and maybe this is my ego talking because everybody has one. I would put us in the top 5 gear makers in the world any day of the week.
Well, so did AI.
Yeah, well,
on the internet.
But like, I feel like what we produce, what we put out, the consistency of good gear, they know they're getting this. Our client list at this point, like, and our client list gets crazy. Like, I get calls a couple times a week with names that I was like, the fuck?
Well, it's because, like, what we've talked about this whole podcast, you've built a brand that is reputable.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's interesting to me to hear that what you're most proud of is your involvement in the community, which is like the big wrestling community, like WWE, you know, we could keep listing acronyms. And then what you find the most interesting too, and the adult version of yourself, is the community almost that you've created by doing this. Like, you've not just created a brand, but like you've created almost like a little JCJ community of people who've learned from you, or people who have benefited from the reliability of your gear, or from people who you've even employed at this point, you know, and you changed. No, you're going to hate this, but you have changed people's lives, you know? And
I don't know.
Now I'm just plugging you. That's not what you said, but you know, it's interesting to see that that's how you view kind of your success in your brain too, is not just, I was on my gear was on WrestleMania. Oh, I have an action figure. It's like JCJ gear has become something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's the brand. Like, don't get me wrong; those things are awesome.
Oh, that's what I said. They're incredible milestones.
I want to be clear. What I'm about to say may come off wrong. I'm not meaning it. I mean it in the best of ways. Like, I think part of the reason this business has been successful is I always treat them like they're just people.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah. Our friend Tom.
Well, I've never done Tom's gear, but like,
I hope his cats are well.
So many people
really
get lost in the sauce of this guy's on TV.
The clout.
And I want to be clear.
Clout still a word?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
I think that's great. I love my TV clients. I love my indie clients. I love my clients, and I'll treat them the exact same way.
Absolutely, no matter where they are on or where they are going or who they are.
And this kind of almost cycles back to, like you talked about earlier, like guys that want to get to that position of doing TV gear. so many guys when you get to the position of doing TV gear because they think there's way more money, there's way more this.
Or it'll make them something.
Yeah, or they
else.
get this. And
Yeah.
the truth, like, there is, and it can be done that way. I don't do it that way.
No.
My TV guys pay the same as my indie guys.
Sometimes your indie guys have more
100%.
complicated gear.
Like,
I can think of a couple jackets you've made recently.
That's what I was about to say.
That I'm
Like,
like, where were these going?
I was about to say, like, yeah, and like, I have a couple regular indie clients that spend way more than any of my TV clients spend per gear set. And they regularly order. I have a couple indie clients that order more than the TV guys do. Like, and it's just,
Hell of
that's,
a career.
yeah, that's where, so all that cycling back together, like, to me, everybody's the same. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously your shit's on TV. It's important, right?
Yeah.
But I try to treat the people, whether it's at WrestleMania or the VFW hall, your gear is the same level of importance.
Well, I have a few bonus questions, but I think this is a good wrap-up point. And I just want to say that you've had a hell of a career up to this point. I know you were nowhere near even done, but as someone who's witnessed you kind of grow up and have all these businesses, I'm extremely proud of you. And I remember saying one day when you get your action figure with your gear on it, I think it was like 3 months into you making gear, and you're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And now it's right there. So I'm really extremely proud of you and the morals of your business and the empire that you have built here. And I look forward to seeing where it goes from here. And thank you for letting me ask you questions. I'm sure I will have more.
I think you've just given Bud ideas. He wants to ask questions now.
Yeah, well, you are in charge, so you can tell him no. But I appreciate your time, and I appreciate you letting me be the one to ask you questions. Because like I said, we don't have a lot of time to talk this deeply about things. So this has been really great. So if you ever want me to take over again, you just let me know. Guys, let me know if you you want me to interview more people.
Yeah,
I don't know things.
Let's put a little damper or a wrap up. Not a
Okay,
damper.
I'm going to hand the mic back to him. He's in charge again.
I'm going to wrap this up, and then we're going to do an extra segment with a bonus question.
I also make art.
So if you guys are not following Julia Pasqua, also known as Lilith's Addict, on Instagram, you should probably go to the wide shot for this.
Hello.
Chapow. There we go. You should. There, her follow will be in the thing that we're filming right now.
We're also potentially going to have a merch drop with the JCJ gear. That's what he's told me. I don't know. Now he has to follow through with it. It's on the podcast. He has to do it.
Yes. We're working on that. We may be working on some gear coming up.
Yeah, we are.
But with all that being said, if you don't follow her, you should. She does great art. She's an artist on her own right. We're going to have her on the podcast to talk on a different level, like a more in tune idea of like designing things.
Yeah, then I'm scared. I don't know what those questions are going to be.
Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun, but go follow her. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. This was way more in depth than I was anticipating.
You're welcome.
And let's get to these bonus questions. It is John Cody Jenkins with JCJ Gear, and
I almost did her this cosplay couple outro.
we will catch you in the next one, or at least I will.